Today we're looking at two players who spawned into completely rigged servers, got locked out of their accounts, and decided to just hack the entire firewall to get absolute admin rights. Welcome to History 404. Character 1, Princess Olga. The year is 945 AD. The Kievan Rus server is brutal, unforgiving, and heavily PvP focused. Olga's husband, Prince Igor, was the head admin, and he went to collect tribute from a neighboring guild called the Drevlians. Igor collected the loot, but then got greedy and went back to demand a double payout. The Drevlians didn't appreciate the microtransaction. They responded by permanently banning Igor from the server, violently. This left Olga completely alone, protecting a 3-year-old heir with an entire kingdom to run. The Drevlians, assuming she was a weak, low-level NPC, decided to execute a hostile account takeover. They sent 20 of their top-tier ambassadors on a boat to Kyiv. Their brilliant strategy? Ask Olga to marry the exact same prince who just deleted her husband. Most players would rage quit. Olga just smiled. She told them it was a massive honor and asked them to return to their boat for the night. She said her guards would carry them in the boat the next morning like VIPs. But overnight, she ordered a massive trench to be dug right in the middle of the palace courtyard. The next morning, the Drevlians sat in their boat feeling like absolute gaming legends, until the guards walked them to the trench and just dropped the entire boat inside. Olga looked down and asked if the honor was to their liking right before burying them alive. That was just trap number 1. Olga then sent a message back to the Drevlians claiming she agreed to the marriage, but she said she needed their highest-ranking nobleman to escort her to show respect. Completely unaware of the buried boat, the entire Drevlian elite guild arrived in Kyiv. She warmly invited them to wash up in the local bathhouse after their long journey. They walked inside thinking they had just won the game. As soon as they were inside, Olga's guards locked the doors and burned the entire building to the ground. At this point, Olga had wiped out the entire Drevlian leadership without losing a single HP. But the server wipe wasn't finished. She traveled to the Drevlian lands, announcing a funeral feast for her late husband. The remaining Drevlians, still clueless about their leaders, got incredibly drunk. She effectively applied a massive intoxication debuff to the entire enemy army. Once they were completely defenseless, Olga gave the signal. Her guards massacred 5,000 Drevlians in one night. Finally, she laid siege to their capital city, Iskarostan. The siege lasted for an entire year. The city walls were simply too strong to breach. Realizing she couldn't break the firewall, Olga offered peace. She asked for a ridiculously low tribute, just 3 pigeons and 3 sparrows from each house. The Drevlians couldn't believe their luck. They thought she had finally given up. They eagerly handed over the birds to pay off the siege. But Olga was basically crafting incendiary grenades. That night, she ordered her soldiers to light the sulfur attached to the birds, and she released them. By pure instinct, the birds flew straight back to their nests inside the wooden city. Within minutes, every single house caught fire simultaneously. It was impossible to put out. As the residents fled the flames, Olga's army was waiting for them outside the gates. She executed a flawless total server wipe. The Drevlian faction was completely erased from the map. But Olga didn't just stop at revenge. She used her new admin rights to actually upgrade the server. She established the first centralized legal tax system in Eastern Europe. She built trading posts and strengthened the economy. And then she made the ultimate late-game pivot. She converted to Christianity. And the most ironic part of this entire glitch in history? The woman who buried people alive and burned a city to ashes was later canonized as an official saint. She literally unlocked the saint achievement after committing massive PvP atrocities. The ultimate flex of manipulating the game's morality system. Sector 1 cleared, preparing next file. Character 2, Cleopatra. In the game of empires, Egypt was an absolute legacy server. It was ancient, glorious, but completely running out of resources. The new mega server on the block, Rome, was slowly consuming everything around it. When Cleopatra logged in as co-ruler at age 18, her kingdom was practically begging to be conquered. To make matters worse, her co-admin was her 10-year-old brother, who immediately exiled her. Most rulers would accept the game over. But Cleopatra realized she just needed to borrow someone else's admin privileges. Enter Julius Caesar, Rome's most powerful player, who just arrived in Egypt. Her brother tried to win Caesar over first with bribes and flattery. Cleopatra was completely banned from the palace, so she used the ultimate stealth exploit. She had herself smuggled directly into Caesar's private room, rolled up inside a carpet. She bypassed the entire firewall and dropped right into his lobby. Caesar was so impressed by the sheer audacity that they formed an immediate alliance. They defeated her brother, and Cleopatra got her admin rights back. She even had a son with Caesar, practically linking the Egyptian and Roman servers. She moved to Rome to flex her power directly in the capital. The Roman Senate was absolutely furious. Caesar even placed a golden statue of her inside the Temple of Venus. But in 44 BC, the Roman moderators manually deleted Caesar. Cleopatra's main shield was gone. She had to flee back to Egypt immediately. Back home, her server was experiencing critical failures, famine, and a failing economy. She needed another top-tier Roman ally to survive the next patch. Enter Mark Antony, the new heavy hitter in the east. He summoned her to Tarsus. Cleopatra made him wait. You don't summon a queen, you invite her. When she finally arrived, she staged the ultimate cinematic cutscene. She sailed in on a golden barge with purple sails, dressed as the goddess Aphrodite. Antony was completely mesmerized. The alliance was secured instantly. She once bet him she could spend a fortune on a single meal. She dropped a priceless pearl into vinegar, let it dissolve, and drank it just to flex her wealth stats. For years, they ruled the East together, throwing legendary parties. They had children together, further cementing their guild alliance. In the donations of Alexandria, Antony literally gave away Roman server territory to Cleopatra's kids. Back in Rome, Caesar's heir Octavian decided this was a ban-worthy offense. He illegally broke into a sacred temple to steal Antony's private will. He read the will to the Senate, proving Antony wanted to be buried in Egypt, not Rome. Rome immediately declared total war. It all came down to the Battle of Actium in 31 BC. Octavian's general outmaneuvered them, completely trapping the Egyptian fleet. Realizing the battle was lost, Cleopatra broke her ships through the blockade to escape. Antony completely abandoned his own army just to follow her. They retreated to Alexandria, but their defense stats were ruined. Octavian's forces easily breached the city gates. Believing Cleopatra was already dead, Antony manually logged himself out. Cleopatra barricaded herself inside her royal tomb. But she was captured alive. Octavian planned to parade her through the streets of Rome as the ultimate trophy. But she absolutely refused to let her rival get the victory parade. According to legend, she requested a simple basket of figs. Hidden inside the fruit was a highly venomous snake. She chose her own exit strategy. Octavian's guards busted down the door moments later. But they found her already logged out, dressed in her full royal armor. Octavian was furious. She had permanently denied him the ultimate kill credit. Out of respect, he allowed her to be buried beside Mark Antony. Egypt officially became a Roman province. The legacy server was finally closed. But Cleopatra's legend outlived the Roman Empire itself. She didn't rely on massive armies or brute force. She was the ultimate social engineer. Sector 2 cleared, preparing final verdict. 2 legendary queens, 2 completely different hacking strategies. Olga brute forced her way through the firewall with absolute destruction. Cleopatra used smooth social engineering and stealth. Olga brute forced her way through the firewall with absolute destruction. Cleopatra used smooth social engineering and stealth. Absolute admin rights aren't given, they are taken. So who won the firewall wars? Drop a comment below with your winner. Hit subscribe and enable notifications to patch your timeline. We'll see you in the next patch update.